So we're continuing on our 5-5 notes, and we're down to example 1 right here. First thing that we have to do is now we're going to be dealing with some negatives. So last year when you guys divided fractions, you only did what we did up here. You divided 2 fractions, and that was it. But this year we're going to be dealing with some negatives when we're dividing fractions. Who can raise their hand and remind me, where should you put the negative? Anytime you have a fraction, and your fraction deals with a negative, who can raise their hand? Actually, even better. Give me a thumbs up if you think the negative should go in the numerator, and a thumbs down if you think it should go in the denominator. Where should that negative go? Should we put it in the numerator? Give me a thumbs up. Or the denominator? Give me a thumbs down. So give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's got to go in either the numerator or denominator. I don't want it in front anymore. Good. You should be giving me a thumbs up. Take that negative and put that with the 6. We're going to call it a -6. And then the 2/15 is positive. So we're starting off by assigning all of our negatives to the numerator. Now, in order to divide fractions, we need to keep, change, and flip. So get ready for our crowd response. You need to keep your first fraction the same. Let's try it again. Keep your first fraction the same. So go ahead and keep your -6/7. You need to change division to multiplication. Try one more time. Change division to multiplication. And then go ahead and flip your second fraction. Good question. No, good question. You cannot cross cancel until you've got it as a multiplication problem. So don't do any cross canceling until you keep, change, and flip. You've got to keep, change, flip first. It would be a totally different answer and it would be wrong. You have to keep, change, flip first. So now that we've done our keep, change, flip, we have a multiplication problem. Raise your hand if you see some cross canceling. So you're looking for cross canceling. Very good. I love the fact that you called that a -6. That's a -6. That's a +2. We're going to divide both of them by 2. What's -6 divided by 2? -3. Good. Nice job keeping the negative with the 3. That's awesome. What's 2 divided by 2? 1. Raise your hand if you see some more cross canceling. Can you factor anything out of 7 and 15? Nah. So let's multiply. -3 times 15. Close. -45. Yep, a negative times a positive will always be negative. So -45 is our numerator. You should be writing this down. And then in our denominator, what's 7 times 1? 7. Who can raise their hand and tell me why this is not a good final answer? This should not be our final answer. Good. Our numerator is bigger than the denominator, so it's what type of fraction? Improper. So, how many times can 7 go into 45? 6 times. So we're going to write a 6. And then our denominator, 7. What is 6 times 7? 42. So how many more to get up to 45? 3. Can you simplify 3/7? No. What am I missing? The negative. Very good. We kind of ignore that negative at first when we're writing our improper fraction as a mixed number. Just cover up that negative, but then we have to remember to apply it at the end. So we get -6 and 3/7. All right. I want you to go ahead and do the first step for this one right here. Just hang tight with me for a minute, okay? Stay for this one. So think about what you need to do first for this problem here. And who can raise their hand and tell me the first thing that you're doing? Very first step. Good. And then did you put the negative with the 9, right, bud? Very good. So we're putting the negative, and you know what I would do if I were you guys? Up here, see how it's got the negative out front? A lot of students just like to scribble it off and then put the negative with the 9. And then they like to scribble it off here, and they put the negative with the 7. So that's perfectly fine. Did the keep. He said, let's keep our first fraction the Same. Good, Marie. Keep your first fraction the same. All right. Change division to. Good. Try it again. Ready? Change division to multiplication. Now, do you have the next step or do you have a question? Good question. I'm going to give you a pyro ticket. That's a pyro ticket. That is only when it's in the exponent. All right. But I love the fact that you're thinking about the negative because when you go, great critical thinking. When you go to flip this second fraction, I actually personally prefer to leave the negative in the numerator. So you can actually leave the negative right where it is. Just flip the 15 and the 7 because I always like my negative to be in the numerator anyways. So let's flip those around. So we're keeping the negative in the numerator. Who can raise their hand and tell me what to do now? What are you looking to try and do? 4. You're trying to cross cancel. Can I cross cancel anything from the 9 and the 7? How about the 14 and the 15? No. All right. Resist the urge to cross cancel the 7 and the 14. Why can't I cross cancel both of those? They're both in the denominator, right? Cross canceling, they got to be across from each other. So let's go ahead and multiply. When I type this into my calculator, I'm typing negative 9 times negative 15. And I'm getting positive 135. In my denominator, I need to do 14 times 7. And you're getting 98. Yeah, I always leave the negative in the numerator. Yes, always, always, always. What's wrong with this answer? Improper. Do you guys know how many times 98 goes into 135? Once, is it? I'm going to use my calculator, and I'm going to type in 135 divided by 98 just to double check. Whoops. No, I'm not. Now I am. And what's the whole number that it gives me? 1. So it definitely goes in there one time. And then to figure out how many are left over, you do 135 minus 98. And you guys are saying 37 left over. Good. Now I want to show you guys one more thing. You should have some room down here at the bottom. I want to show you why the negative doesn't matter where it goes, but we prefer it in the numerator. So go ahead and write the fraction of negative 6. And go ahead and put the negative with the 6. So go ahead and do negative 6 divided by 2. So write this down at the bottom. What is a negative 6 divided by a positive 2? Negative 3. Now, I want you to go ahead and write a 6 in the numerator. And this time, put a negative 2 in the denominator. So this time we're putting the negative in the denominator instead. What is 6 divided by negative 2? Negative 3. So did it matter if the negative was in the numerator or in the denominator? No, it doesn't really matter. But I'm telling you right now that next year in algebra, you're going to want to be in the habit of putting it in your numerator. So where are you putting your negative? Numerator. All right, flip to your worksheet. It is the 5-5 worksheet. You need to do 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, and 22. So your homework is right here. 5-5 worksheet.